Lisa here. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to my December favorites. Oh boy, there's been a lot of videos on my channel lately, so if you have been hanging in for all of that, thank you. There's been a lot going on, but I really love doing my favorites videos, so I couldn't skip this one. So let's get into it. I'm just gonna jump right in with, what am I gonna start with? Let's start with books. I usually put books near the end, but let's start with books. So this month there's a few books I want to talk about. One of them is Unicorn Magic by Tess Whitehurst. I actually pre-ordered this book off of Amazon. This is a Llewellyn publication, and Tess Whitehurst has written some other books. I'm really bad at reviewing books, just so you know. But let's see if there's a little bit of a list of some of the other things she's done, because I know she's published some other stuff. I believe she also has she does have a YouTube channel, so I will link that in the description box down below if I can remember. But this book just came out this year, and I kind of enjoyed reading through this. I will say I didn't get a lot out of the first read through because it's one of those books that's very much sort of activity driven. And while I did do some of the meditations and some of the activities in here, I wasn't in the frame of mind, I think, to dive into sort of unicorn, fluffy, love and light kind of stuff. I've been in a more like, let me just, you know, get something out of my eye, probably glitter or something for my makeup. Welcome to my channel. I'm gonna be ridiculous. Anyway, I just found that I was in more of a, like, I don't want to say dark, so I wasn't in a dark place. That sounds really morbid. No, I was just in a more introspective place, and this looks like something I would have probably enjoyed reading more in the spring or the summer, oddly. There's just a lot of really, I want to say light. I keep wanting to say light. It's very light. This book is very light. The meditations are absolutely beautiful, and I read through the entire book cover to cover, including all the meditations, and some of them I kind of did a light version of. You know when you read a meditation and you kind of just let yourself sink into the imagery and sort of be in the moment? It's not quite a full meditation because you're reading, but you kind of like visualize as you read. Does anybody else do that, or is that just me? So I did a bit of that, and I really enjoyed the meditations that are in here. There's also a really lovely sort of self-love, self-confidence slant to this book, which makes sense. It does say awaken to mystical energy and embrace your personal power, and it is entirely based on sort of the energy and the symbology of the unicorn, which I really, really appreciated. I just think I was looking for something a little bit more, I want to say something a little bit more magic-y, which doesn't probably make any sense because there's a lot of magic in this book. I think part of it is that my practice, as much as I identify with unicorns and I love working with my inner child, when it comes to my magical practice has actually gotten a lot deeper, a lot, I want to say darker. Again, that's not quite what I mean, but it's more primal, I think, in a way, a little bit more intense, and this feels a little bit brighter and lighter. I don't know how else to explain it. Like I said, not the best at reviewing books, but I was really, really glad that I read it through, and I'm going to be referring to it again, particularly when I'm in the frame of mind where this is exactly what I need. This would be a wonderful book to put into like a bit of a self-care kit. If you have a self-care practice on a particular day of the week or particular day of the month, or if you like to book sort of self-care time for yourself, this is really wonderful for that, because when I'm feeling like down and I need a lift, this would be wonderful. The meditations in here would be great. They'd be very empowering. If I was feeling a little bit down in the dumps, this would be a really great pick-me-up. So yeah, I think it'd be really good for that. So that is Unicorn Magic by Tess Whitehurst. Another book that I wanted to talk about, which I may have brought up in an earlier monthly favorites, is Unicorn on a Roll by Dana Simpson. Is anybody like noticing a theme here? Me? Unicorns? As you guys know, I've talked about these almost every single month in my favorites, but I'm really loving this series, and this is book 2. I read it pretty darn quickly this time. It was almost sad how quickly it was over. It kind of reminds me a little bit of like getting a box of chocolates, and they're like really, really wonderful, and then you feel like you go through them too fast, and you're like, dang it, I wish I had more chocolate. I wish I had my next one of these already, but I don't yet. I'm needing book 3. I think there's 9 books in total that are out, 9 or 10. Excuse me. So I'm really looking forward to the next one. But I also kind of like spacing them out because I feel like if I had too many of them too quickly, I would just finish them all up and then I'd be bummed, or I'd just start over at the beginning again. But as you guys know, this is, if you've seen my other favorites video, this is a comic book. Basically, it's based off of I think what was a web comic or web series, and it's just really fun. It is really designed for children, but I freaking love it. So Phoebe and her Unicorn series, Unicorn on a Roll book 2, love it. And And my most favoriteest book of December is undoubtedly Lisa Hunt's Once Upon a Time. This is the guidebook for the Fairy Tale Tarot, which is out of print, and this is the English guidebook, and it is a treasured possession now. So a friend of mine actually acquired this, was rehoming it. We ended up doing a trade. I traded a deck or two for this, and I am so grateful because this was wonderful to work with in December. I really enjoyed all the stories. I enjoyed the writing style. I enjoyed the spreads that were in here, and I just loved having this. Now, you can get the English guidebook in the app. So if you go to your Android app store, your Apple iTunes, whatever store, you can download the Fairy Tale Tarot app by The Fool's Dog, which should be available on both Apple and Android. And the full guidebook is in the app. So if you can't get your hands on a paper copy, don't worry, but I love paper copies, and I am commissioning, without paying her. I'm paying her in my kindness and my love, but I am commissioning my wife to make me a dual pocket bag for my Fairy Tale Tarot so that the book and the deck can live together. It's probably one I'm going to keep in a special spot. I just really, really like it. And the deck that I have is actually the Spanish version of the deck, which is still available mass market. You can find it on Amazon. I picked up the Spanish version of the deck, but now I have the English guidebook. I said that in a very confusing way. Hopefully you followed along with me as I went through that. But these are my book favorites for the month. Let's talk about some random stuff. What do I have in random? Yeah, let's talk about random stuff. So first of all, I think I might have talked about this in another video. I can't remember when it came up, but this is my Ouija board mug. This is actually officially licensed by Hasbro. Peggy got this for me for Christmas. This is, I think she found this at a video game store, but this is just really cool, and it's got the handle kind of built in. I don't know if you've ever seen mugs like this, so instead of like, it's like part of the shape. I don't know, I just really, really love it. I've been using it a lot the last month, and it currently has a delicious tea in it, and I have been loving it. And I've also been drinking a lot of tea and hot beverages in general over the last month. So, random number one. Random number two is I got a sewing machine. I got a simple, literally a Singer Simple starter machine so that I could do some fun little sewing projects. I managed to sew up a couple little gifts over the holidays for some friends and do some other kind of little playful things. I am playing around with possibly making my own pajamas. We'll see how that goes. I'll definitely report back, especially if it's successful. If it's not successful, I may never speak of this again, but I plan to be successful and then to share the adventure with you guys. But I'm just enjoying playing around a little bit. As you guys know, Peggy has her sewing stuff, and so this is like a machine. I don't have to be scared I'm gonna break one of her special machines or anything like that. I can just play around, see what happens. I've done a couple simple projects and a couple that I'm pretty proud of myself for, so I'm really enjoying that. Miscellaneous number 3 is my, oh no, I knew this was gonna happen. Next to me I have, oh no, I'm making, oh my gosh, it's a disaster. Let's see if I managed to save everything. I think I did. Okay, so, nope, I don't drop anything. Okay, my Playmobil advent calendar. Oh, is there a really good place to show? It's all wrecked because of course I've opened all the doors, but it was my Playmobil advent calendar for 2019. What was this one called? I don't know if it has a name on it. I think it was called like Winter Ball or something. There's literally no name on the box whatsoever. I'm not going to show you the whole thing because of course I opened up all of these little doors and I've set everything up, but I pulled a couple of my favorite little surprises. So one day, okay, let me back up. The Playmobil advent calendar is for children, which of course you all know I am one big child. So when you're all done, you end up having this like winter scene, and this one was a ball. So you have like a couple of figures, so one's playing music, a couple of them are playing music. These two girls are kind of dancing. You have a big table set with food and glasses and a tree and presents and toys and all kinds of fun, adorable things. So some of my favorite things, of course, were the adorable tree, because look at this. This is very like sort of, I feel like much more Yule than Christmas, which I really enjoyed. And that's one of the things I think I really liked about this one, is that it felt like more holiday and less like Christmas, even though I'm fine with Christmas, like secular Christmas kind of thing. But like you even got these like little like presents, and each present actually opens up and has a little toy. So this day we got a little pink present, and inside is a little doll. Look at the toy, not my face, there we go. And then one day we got these little like, these look like little suitcases. And they do open. Let's see if it'll stay focused here. And this one had like a little music, oh come on, a little music book inside. Like these are tiny. I feel like if I had small children, I don't know if I'd want to get them these because it feels like there's a lot of things you could swallow in this particular kit. Maybe it's meant for older kids. I mean, I've never had little kids, so I don't know. Oh, I showed you the pink one. I showed you the blue one. Oh, here's another little one that looked like a little suitcase. And inside this one there was, ah yes, a little tiara. But see, look how tiny these are. And they open and close. There was a little sled and Peggy had to help me tie the little handle on. Like, look at how cute these are. The little tied on handle. There was even a set of skis that literally clip to the figure's feet. There's like 3 or 4 figures that come with. Oh, this was one of my favorites. Look at this little puppy. And actually its little head kind of moves up and down because there is also a little dog food bowl that's also teeny tiny. And oh yes, that's right. There was this little adorable like animal bed with a kitty in it. Look at the little kitty. Okay, hold on. I'm really bad at showing this stuff, but you have this little sleeping kitty that goes in there, and there's even a little baby kitty, so I think that's supposed to be the mommy kitty. I am literally a child, but look at this tiny little cat. So there's a ton more stuff. Like there's the people, there's like a candelabra, there's even like a little plastic toy turkey. It was really fun. So every day you'd open up a different little thing and you'd slowly build this winter scene. This like winter ball scene. Super fun. I've wanted one of them for the last like several years, and this is the first year that we got one, and I really enjoyed it. A lot of times I do chocolate ones. There's some other ones that are out there. I almost got the Harry Potter Funko like little figurine one. That would have been really fun. Anyway, I love advent calendars. Speaking of advent calendars, let's just jump into my YouTube favorites. Yeah, because I'm done in that section. Anyway, oh no, I'm not. One more thing before I get into advent calendars. So the other favorite kind of random thing that I wasn't sure what category to put it in, which is what my randoms are all about, is this new bag design by Peggy. Now, this is actually a prototype bag that had a ribbon wrap on it. The ones that she's actually making going forward actually have an elastic closure, which looks, so it has a look kind of like this one, and the elastic wraps all the way around. But these bigger ones are really nice because they open up into like a really nice sized reading cloth that works for 3 cards, or you can flatten the whole thing and do it this way, and then you've got a nice wide reading cloth that way. But these have 2 pockets. So one pocket holds your guidebook. So mine has my Dreams of Gaia in it right now. So one side holds your guidebook, and then the other side, you can do another guidebook, you have a deck, or you could do like a deck here on this pocket and then another deck in this pocket. But so this has my Dreams of Gaia because it's one that I don't use without the guidebook. So awesome, awesome. That's upside down, like that. Anyways, this is a really cool new bag design that she came up with. So I'm asking her to make me another one of these for my Fairy Tale Tarot, which I want to keep with its guidebook. And there'll be probably a few other decks that for me, these are really useful for travel, but they're also really useful for just decks, because you guys know I hang all my decks on the wall in other Peggy bags. But the reason I like this is because sometimes there's decks that you just don't use without their guidebook, without their full-size guidebook. Like the Marielle Tarot is a good example where you might really want the guidebook at hand every time you're working with the deck. And I just really thought this was a cool concept. So I love it. I love it very much. And I've been rotating that one. So I've had my Marielle in that one, my Dreams of Gaia in that one. It just depends on kind of what I'm working with regularly at the time. But yeah. Anyway, advent calendars, before I forget. Let's talk about YouTube favorites. Obviously, my 21 Days of Yule was definitely a favorite. I will link up in the cards my 21 Days of Yule playlist so you can check those out. It was really fun. It was basically a YouTube video advent calendar for Yule. So every single day, I put up a video that would have a little interactive activity, whether it was a pick a card reading, we did some sigil magic, we made a paper snowflake that was really cool. Mine is still over here. What else did we do? Some kitchen witchery, some meditations, a little yoga. So lots of fun things in there just to kind of keep something fun and festive and interactive, but kind of witchy and kind of tarot and kind of all of the things that we love. So that was really fun. It was definitely a favorite for December. I may or may not do it again. I'm probably gonna do it again, let's be honest. I really did it partly because I really wanted one, like a YouTube calendar. So I really enjoyed doing it. Definitely a favorite. Other favorites I wanted to mention are Three Fat Readers, we did our Most Wanted Tarot. So I will link that video up in the cards. That was so much fun. We did hashtag Most Wanted Tarot, and we basically talked about the tarot decks that were currently sitting on our wish list, things we were anticipating for 2020 and beyond, and just sort of stuff we were coveting. And it was super, super fun. I always love our Three Fat Readers chats. If you don't know what fatters, why? I'm also still getting my voice back in case you couldn't tell. If you don't know what Three Fat Readers is, that is myself, Danny of Danny Mystic, and Dustin of Modern Metaphysic Man. We always get together and chat about decks, about life, about whatever, but on Three Fat Readers, we usually have something semi-tarot related that we like to talk about. We launched Three Fat Readers with a discussion on Game of Thrones and the Game of Thrones tarot, and we had an absolute blast, and it's been going ever since. We usually do a live every single month, and so if you want to catch us during those, definitely make sure that you click the link on the most recent video, subscribe, and click the little bell so you get notified, because sometimes we advertise further in advance when our streams are, and sometimes less so. It kind of just depends on how crazy our schedules are, and like how far in advance we get the date pinned down and all that stuff. So make sure you're notified on that one if you want to watch those, but they're a lot of fun. YouTube, I also found a new channel. He's not a new channel, but he's new to me. Adam Barrelette, and I will link his channel up in the cards so that you guys can find him easily, but he has a lot of really great content. I watched a ton of his videos on crystals, as well as some of his videos on oils and herbs, and he's just got a really polished channel with a lot of really great content. The videos are short, they're easy to watch, but they're full of fantastic information. I love his vibe, and he films in some really beautiful locations. So I really enjoyed his channel and wanted to give a shout out. There's probably other stuff that I've forgotten, but December was kind of, well, kind of a whirlwind month. Let's talk about food. That will probably clarify some things. So my favorite food things in December, first of all, Campbell's chicken noodle soup. Y'all, I was so sick in December. I'm still getting over the cough. I was sick for like the whole month pretty much. Horrible flu, like laryngitis, like the whole works. It was horrible. Anyway, I ate a lot of chicken noodle soup. Like Peggy just came home with like a sack of them one day because it was one of the only things that sounded good. The saltiness felt good on my throat. It went down well. I wasn't really in the mood for a whole lot, so I mean, it's like an old favorite. It's like I make a can of this, I put in like a half a can of water. Yes, I know there is crap tons of salt when I eat it like that, but it tastes delicious, and that's what I ate. Like a lot. Like a lot. And I'm not even really completely sick of it, to be completely honest. So that was a favorite. Another favorite in food was the Yogi lemon ginger tea. I did get a tip near the end of my cold that this is actually kind of irritating to your throat. At least according to one person I talked to, but I usually make this with a ton of honey, so maybe the honey cancels it out, but it feels like it tastes good. Does that make sense? I also had a bit of my turmeric, I think it's ginger turmeric tea, that I don't have the jar, so I can't show it to you, that I drank the last time I had like a head cold or whatever, and I really like the turmeric. It just makes me feel like I'm drinking something that's going to help. I don't know if it actually does, but this one's pretty tasty. If you like ginger, it's a pretty spicy ginger, and I like, there's something about lemon and honey when I'm sick that just feels like it's gonna make my throat feel better, whether or not it actually does. So I drank a bunch of this, and these vitamin C drops. I don't know if you guys have ever seen these. There's probably different brands of them. These ones are by Vicks. They're not cough drops. They're just like legit vitamin C drops. So they're like a cough drop in the sense that they're like a little thing that you suck on, I guess. But they have vitamin C. And non-medicinal ingredients are sugar, citric acid, and some food coloring. That's about it. So it's just a way to get more vitamin C in you, but this was really nice when I got really, really sick of cough drops because I ate so many Ricola in December. It's kind of insane. I couldn't even put them as a favorite because I got so sick of them. But these are tasty. These kind of taste like orange candy, and you're getting extra vitamin C, so helping soothe the throat a little bit. Vitamin C, it was a good combo. I liked it. What else do I have? TV and movies. The day that I was homesick from work, I managed to only miss one day, which is miraculous, but probably because I got sick on the weekend. But I stayed in bed and I watched The Greatest Showman, which is a comfort movie for me. I would say my two sick movies, it used to only be one. My sick movie used to always be Ever After with Drew Barrymore. I love that movie. but lately it's been this one too. I pretty much know the entire thing by heart. I've watched it a bazillion times. In fact, I mentioned it in a favorites video earlier this year, or well, 2019. But The Greatest Showman is so much fun. It's a fantastic musical, and I would say even if you don't like musicals, you should watch this one because it's just really different and fresh, and the music is great. The storyline is fantastic. It's just fun, and it's comforting, and I love the music, and yeah, so gotta mention that. Also, I have been watching a bit of Gilmore Girls just as like something to play in the background when I want background noise for something. I love that show. I've watched the entire series through multiple times, kind of like Buffy. It's like Gilmore Girls, Buffy. As far as series that I could watch over and over again, Alias I can watch over and over again. But probably Buffy and Gilmore Girls are my two favorites. Also, there is a documentary series on Netflix called Broken, and the first episode is about the makeup industry, and particularly it talks a lot about counterfeit makeup, and I found that episode fascinating. Full disclosure, I've watched no other episodes, but I'd heard about that one. I recommend it, especially if you ever buy makeup from places like Amazon or eBay. Go watch that video. It will freak you out. It's mind-blowing in a not great way. And finally, I have watched the first couple episodes now of Witcher. I'm completely sucked in. I can't wait to watch the rest. We have been watching that. Well, Peggy and Steve already watched the whole thing, and they are generously rewatching it with me. So mostly I think when Steve's off work, I don't know how that's going to work, but we will figure it out, and I will get the rest of the series watched, or the season. But I really enjoy it. It's pretty intense, but I like it. What else do I have to talk about? Memories! Oh! Excuse me. There's two more memories that I want to talk about. So it was the holidays, the big sort of family thing that we did. I was kind of still sick. I was at the end of the really sick, but I was still kind of sick. We went to go see A Magical Yule Ball, which is a Harry Potter inspired interactive live theater event that happens in Vancouver. This is the last year they were going to have it. It was so much fun. I wasn't feeling well, so I ended up kind of crashing and burning a little bit early in the evening, but it was still amazing. It was fun to meet all the characters. Like anybody you can imagine was there. Oh, I can even show you some stuff. We all got our own wand when we came in, and these were all like a little bit unique. So you picked a house, so I was a Hufflepuff, and you got a badge. Oh yeah, I can show you stuff. I left it here. Okay. So you got a little badge to show what house you were in so that the actors would know whether you were a Hufflepuff or a Ravenclaw, Slytherin, Gryffindor, whatever. When you came in, oh, I haven't got my picture yet, I just realized. They took pictures of us with a live owl named Hagrid. He was a great horned owl, I believe. Beautiful, super sweet. You literally got to hold him. I got to hold him. So Peggy and I got our picture taken with this owl. I was able to go back later and get my picture with the owl, just me, which was really fun too. I hope they send those eventually. But that was actually on Yule Eve, so it wasn't that long ago, like less than 2 weeks. So I think hopefully that's still coming. But that was really, really fun, and they gave you your wand, and you could wear an invisibility cloak, which was like a sash, so that the actors wouldn't bug you if you didn't want to be bugged. And we had Professor Lockhart. This is the actor that played him, and we got like little fan. You could get signed autograph from him. He was hilarious. It was a lot of fun. So that was a lot of fun. And then of course the family and I just did a really comfortable, like casual, super relaxed event. We sorry, still coughing. We did a white elephant gift exchange. It was really fun, super lighthearted, no stress. It was amazing. One of my best Christmases ever. Really, really relaxed. I'm still talking, which means I'm gonna have to splice this video together. That's fine. We'll deal with it. So I've got a couple more categories to talk about. I have decks and I have beauty and lifestyle, which I've added this month because I have things I want to talk about, because as some of you have noticed, I've been playing with makeup and I've been really having fun, except when I was sick in December. But I did still get a chance to play with a few things, so I'm going to talk about those. So first of all, the eyeshadow palette that I probably played with the most over the last month, which again, not much, but is the Tati Beauty palette. You guys, I talked about this I think in last month's favorites too, but this palette is so pretty if you like eyeshadow. Sorry for anybody who does not do makeup, but this palette is gorgeous. I've pretty much played with everything, every single column except for this one. I'm not a big cool tones person, although I'm going to challenge myself to try to do a look with those colors at some point. I'm not actually wearing this palette today, I'm wearing a different palette, but this one is really, really nice and I've been really enjoying playing with that. And then I just wanted to talk about a couple skincare favorites really quick. One is the Sunday Riley Good Genes, what's this called? Good Genes All-in-One Lactic Acid Treatment. This is what my little sample size, this stuff is hideously expensive. Hideously expensive. So I will never buy this. Unless I, you know, independently wealthy and suddenly have a whole lot of extra spending money. But honestly, I don't see the need because you can get other lactic acid treatments. So when I finish using this up, I'm going to be using a lactic acid treatment by The Ordinary. And unless it doesn't do what this does, I'm just going to keep using that one. But let me tell you what this stuff does. It's like a chemical exfoliant. So what I will do is I'll put this on at night and then like kind of rub it in, and then I will use a moisturizer, well, a facial oil and a moisturizer. When I wake up, it's literally like overnight I've had a facial. It's amazing. I love this stuff. I love this stuff. I just don't want to pay for this stuff. So I'm gonna buy a different lactic acid, but this is a lactic acid treatment basically. And the other skincare product, I'm almost completely out, so I'm gonna have to get more soon. I have a bunch of this actually poured into different bottles. This is the Mario Badescu facial spray with aloe, cucumber, and green tea. This is inexpensive. It works like any other facial spray. I use it as a setting spray. I use it to just like refresh my makeup. I use it as a step in my skincare. So after I've washed my face, I always put a little bit of this on there. It smells really good. Like if you like green tea smelling things, just like really refreshing. I just love it. He also has like a lavender one and I don't remember what the third one is, but really like this. I hate the sprayer though. It's like really like splattery. So I actually pour this into smaller bottles from other setting sprays I've bought in the past that have really fine mists. And then I really like it. It's really good. So that's my beauty category. Let's talk about decks. So there's 4 that I'm going to talk about. The first I've kind of already mentioned. So that one is the Fairy Tale Tarot by Lisa Hunt. This is the Spanish version. It is just beautiful. I really, really enjoyed working with this deck, and having the English guidebook with it made all the difference in the world. But to be honest, a lot of these stories are really, really recognizable to me. There's some that aren't, but there's a lot more that are recognizable than ones that aren't in this deck, and that was really what made it a standout. I really, really, really enjoyed playing with this deck. And December, as you know, was my fairy tale, well, some of you may know, was my fairy tale themed month. So I worked with pretty much all whimsical story or fairy tale themed decks throughout the entire month, and this was one of my favorites. The other favorite was the Forest of Enchantment Tarot. This was probably my number one of the 3 fairy tale decks that I worked with. Well, I worked with 2. I didn't work with my Baba Studios Fairy Tale Tarot this month because I've used it so much otherwise, but the Forest of Enchantment Tarot is just absolutely beautiful. I love, 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 love it. I still haven't edged my deck and I still don't have my peggy bag for it, but those are coming soon. So that is my Forest of Enchantment Tarot, also an absolute favorite. Everybody's been talking about it, it feels like lately, but it is a beautiful, beautiful deck. And lastly, almost lastly, I really, really enjoyed working with the Arthur Rackham Oracle. This deck is really gorgeous. The cards have a beautiful gilding on them. The artwork has been brightened in this 2nd edition. I never had the 1st edition, and there's wonderful expansive keywords. This is a very, very balanced independent Oracle deck with a ton of cards. It's really great. Like, it works like a divination style deck really, really well. I find it easy to use. I find it reads well. I think it pairs well with a bunch of decks. I just really, really love it. But honestly, my absolute, absolute favorite deck to work with for the entire month has to be my last Unicorn Tarot. I will spare you the gushing, and I will put a link for you in the cards with me talking about this deck. It's in a very special peggy bag inside its very special engraved box. You guys, I love these stories so, so much. The cards are excellent quality. The book is wonderful. And the choices made for the artwork, I'm really, really happy with. And I was concerned that I was not going to be happy with it, that this was going to be just a kitschy fan deck. But I loved working with this so, so much. It literally made my month. And I'm so, so pleased to finally have it. No complaints about the actual deck. Plenty of complaints about the Kickstarter process, but no complaints about the actual deck. It really is lovely, and I'm so grateful to have it. And it looks like I'm gonna just squeak in under my time limit before my camera shuts this clip off. So I'm gonna end it right here. I hope you guys have a wonderful day or evening wherever you might be, and I will talk to you all later. Bye!